I never thought the people I loved the most would turn into the very reason I learned how cruel and ungrateful family could be. My story isn't about strangers, or enemies, or outsiders, it's about my own blood. My mother and my sister. The two women who were supposed to protect me, love me, and stand by me. Instead, they laughed at me, used me, and when I finally stood up for myself, they realized I wasn't the helpless little sister or obedient daughter they thought I was. Because that day, I walked out, and I made sure they would regret ever underestimating me. My name is Clara Williams, the quiet one of the family. The dependable one. The one who never said no. My sister, Vanessa, was the star. She always was. From childhood, she knew how to command attention, the prettier one, the louder one, the one who got away with everything. And my mother, well, she adored her. She encouraged her vanity, excused her tantrums, and turned a blind eye to every mistake. Me? I was the backup. The one who should be grateful to even be in the room. When Dad passed away 5 years ago, I became the responsible one, the one who took over the bills, the house repairs, even making sure Mom never lacked anything. Vanessa? She lived life like a butterfly, parties, expensive clothes, vacations with her husband, Daniel. She had a comfortable life because I often covered their financial holes. Credit card debt? I bailed her out. Rent shortfall? I helped. When Mom's medical insurance lapsed, I was the one who renewed it. I didn't mind. Or maybe I convinced myself not to mind. Because I believed that family meant sacrifice. I believed that if I kept giving, one day I'd be valued. But people like my mother and sister don't value quiet sacrifices. They consume them. It was a Tuesday evening when it happened. Vanessa came into my apartment unannounced, like always, her heels clicking against the wooden floor, her designer perfume choking the air. "Clara, I need you to babysit the twins for 2 weeks," she said flatly, as if she were asking me to pass the salt. I blinked. 2 weeks? Yes. Daniel and I are going to Hawaii. We've been planning this for months. I stared at her, stunned. And you didn't think to ask me before you booked flights? Her lips curled into that smug smile I always hated. Why would I? You're always here. You don't have a life. You owe us. Those last 3 words cut deep. You owe us. What do you mean I owe you? I asked quietly. You owe me for all the times I've tolerated you. For Mom always feeding you, housing you, supporting you. Don't act like you're better than us just because you pay a few bills now. You wouldn't even have a roof if it weren't for us. I felt my chest tighten. Vanessa, I'm not your maid. I can't just drop everything for you. I have work, responsibilities. That's when it happened. She slapped me. Hard. Right across the face. You ungrateful brat, she screamed. You think you're too good for us now? You're nothing without this family. Nothing. I staggered back, clutching my cheek. And in that moment, Mom walked into the room. She had been sitting on the sofa the whole time, sipping tea, watching the fight like it was entertainment. When she saw me, red-faced, holding back tears, she laughed. She actually laughed. I will never forget her words. Oh, Clara, don't be so dramatic. Just do what your sister says. She's right, you owe us. Don't forget who carried you for 9 months. That broke me. I didn't scream. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I said nothing. I went to my room, shut the door, and packed my bags. By the time I zipped up my suitcase, something inside me had changed. I wasn't crying anymore. I wasn't hurt. I was clear. Crystal clear. For years I had been the lifeline of that family. Every bill, every emergency, every bailout had my name written on it. Without me, they had nothing. And they had forgotten that. So I decided to remind them. I walked out of that house with my suitcase, past Vanessa's shocked face and Mom's mocking smile. I didn't say a word. I didn't need to. That night, I sat in my apartment and opened my laptop. One by one, I began cutting the strings they had tied me with. The house bills I paid for Mom. Cancelled. The car insurance I covered for Vanessa. Cancelled. The joint phone plan. Disconnected. The credit card I co-signed for. Blocked. It took less than an hour to dismantle the safety net I had built for them. And then, the calls began. The first call came from Vanessa. Clara. The credit card isn't working. We're at the airport, and it got declined. What did you do? I let the silence stretch before replying, oh, I thought you didn't need me. Remember? I'm nothing without you. Good luck in Hawaii. I hung up. 10 minutes later, Mom called, her voice shrill. Clara. The electricity bill hasn't been paid. They're saying they'll cut it off tomorrow. You have to fix this. I smiled to myself. No, Mom. I don't have to do anything. Maybe you should ask your favorite daughter to handle it. But she can't. She doesn't have the money. Not my problem. I ended the call. An hour later, the begging began. Vanessa crying, Daniel shouting, Mom pleading. They sent messages, voicemails, promises. Clara, please, just this once. Clara, we'll pay you back, I swear. Clara, don't do this to your family. But it was too late. The line had been crossed the moment Vanessa's hand met my face, the moment Mom laughed at my pain. And for the first time in my life, I felt powerful. By the end of the week, Vanessa and Daniel were stranded. Their Hawaii trip was cancelled. The travel agency wouldn't refund them without the working credit card. Their utilities at home were piling up with overdue notices. Mom? She realized quickly how much she depended on me. Without my payments, she couldn't afford her medical prescriptions. She tried to guilt-trip me, telling neighbors and relatives how selfish I had become. But when those same relatives called me, I told them the truth. I laid it all out, every payment, every sacrifice, every humiliation. For the first time, people saw through their lies. Weeks passed, and the calls slowed down. But one evening, there was a knock on my door. It was Vanessa. She looked nothing like the polished sister I knew. Her makeup was smeared, her clothes wrinkled, her confidence shattered. Clara, she whispered, please. I'm sorry. For a moment, I almost believed her. But then I remembered the sting of her slap, the sound of Mom's laughter. I don't think you're sorry, I said softly. You're just desperate. Her eyes filled with tears. Please. The kids, don't punish the kids. That cut me deeper than I expected. The twins had done nothing wrong. They were innocent. So I agreed to one thing, I set up a trust fund, directly for the children. Not a cent could be touched by Vanessa or Mom. Everything else? Gone. It's been 6 months since that day. My life is quieter now, freer. I focus on myself, on my work, on building a future where I don't have to live in anyone's shadow. And my family? They still call sometimes, still try to worm their way back in. But the difference is, I don't pick up. Because the truth is, revenge isn't always about screaming or fighting. Sometimes, the sweetest revenge is silence. And walking away. Because when I walked out that day, I didn't just leave the house. I left behind the version of me that allowed myself to be used, slapped, and laughed at. Now, I stand tall. On my own. And they will never forget the day I canceled everything. The end.